Well, for the last couple of years, we've been on a journey of just praying for what God has in store for the next big chapter, big season of life for us in ministry and as a family. And we are here to tell that story.
So 8 years ago was the first time we went to Panama. We took our youth group and connected with the Word of Life team down there. We have a close friend named John who we got to partner with. And from the beginning, I fell in love with Panama, knowing that God was doing really rich things down there in ministry. And I was happy and content with our little short-term trips. And I didn't see it coming, but looks like God has more for us.
As we are seeking more and more, discovering who God made us to be as a family and the wiring and gifting in us to have the greatest contribution to the kingdom of Jesus. We were just down in Panama this past November, December, and we were down there helping a local church at the time. But in that season, God prompted this idea of us coming down and joining the Word of Life team in Panama. For the last 8 years, as Marcella said, we've been bringing student teams down from our church, but we've also gone down as a family now for the last 3 years. And that was something that was pretty special with our kids. And why don't you talk a little bit about that?
So both Maya and Benaiah are extremely comfortable in other cultures, which I think they get a little of that from me. And when we got married, something that I told Seth that would be important for our kids someday is to have a cultural understanding, to understand that there's a whole world out there, a whole world of need, but also a whole world where God is working. And we didn't know what that would look like. It never settled in Panama until we actually went to Panama and took an invitation from John to come down and bring our youth group. And then a couple of years in, we decided to do a little short-term family trip to volunteer for one of the camp ministries that was happening down there. And it was really cool watching Maya and Benaiah just jump right in. There's missionary kids on the team that are their age, and we've seen them grow up together the last 8 years. And yeah, there just seems to be a different kind of light that comes out of my kids when they're kind of uncomfortable, but in this raw place of understanding that we're doing something bigger that's not just for ourselves.
Absolutely. And so we've seen something come alive in us as a married couple while we're down there. And it's, as Marcel said, uniquely who God's made you to be in your journey and our story. But then to see that in our kids as well, all that was just an exciting thing to see and be like, wow, and to discover that as we went along. But then the question is, well, why now? And well, then why Panama? And in that partnership and the friendship we have down there, but also seeing God is doing an amazing thing down in Panama. Panama is a country that is open to the gospel, where people from all over the world have gathered in a very small place because of the Panama Canal and other things, but also the number of expats that are relocating to Panama. It's been an amazing thing happening over the last couple of years. But then to see where God has uniquely placed Word of Life Camp in the middle of this country, and the partnerships, relationships that they have, and the favor that they have to actually go out into the community to proclaim the gospel. We've seen that hundreds and hundreds of times in the lives of young people in the local schools of God doing a special work there. But then the other thing that is very exciting to see is this discipleship training school and raising up the next generation of those to go out with the gospel. I think that God has uniquely put Word of Life in an amazing spot to raise up this next generation and to send them out. And that is part of what we would get to be a part of in going down to Panama.
Yes, and a couple of years ago, John had showed our whole team a presentation of what Word of Life, what the team is currently praying that God will do in the next 5-10 years. And I remembered seeing the video going, I want to be a part of that. And if that means in short term with our church, I'm so excited that that we get to say yes to that. But then it's kind of like this dream is unfolding of actually we're going to be a part of making that. And we get to bring down partnerships of other churches and other people to see what is unfolding in Panama. And it's, at first I was just happy to be part of it. But now it's pretty cool to be kind of the inner side of watching it unfold.
And that's what we've been discovering as we've been sensing God's calling into taking this step of faith, is both our gifting and our wiring as individuals, but also our lived experiences of the things that God has given us, and be like, wow, that's an amazing thing that we can contribute and be a part of that. But then there is this sense of this fire in our hearts and our chest to say, we really believe that God is not only doing something amazing now, but he's about to do even something more amazing. And we want to be a part of it, support it, contribute it, and to be a part of that. and the journey with Word of Life. So that's a lot of the why of where we're going. When is probably a great question. Some of you may be wondering. We will continue on in our role at Rock Point for the next year as we raise up a team of sending us out and continuing our role and within the student ministry and maintaining our partnerships and all of that. So that's part of the win of where we're going. And then where we'll be going, like we said, in Panama. And so
yeah. So before we can get to Panama, we are taking a year-long language program in Costa Rica. This is where we immerse ourselves in the Latin culture, but also the four of us are going to do our best to learn Spanish. And this has been a dream of ours. I'm originally born and from Colombia, but was adopted through missionaries. And I lost my language at the age of 5. So it was my first language, and I know it's somewhere in there, but I've never taken the time to really submerge myself and, rededicate learning Spanish. And it's been fun as we've been going back and forth to Panama that Seth has grown that desire. And again, we thought years from now, when we have time, we'll sit down and learn another language. So actually with the support from John, he really encouraged that we take the time away to do that before we sign on to becoming full-time missionaries with Panama. So August 2025 is when we will be selling our house and moving down to Costa Rica and living in a community that's built to help submerge you in the culture and the language. And I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's a little bit more of our story. And ultimately, in all the questions, it gets come to how is this going to be made possible is we're going to be sent by family and friends. And so thank you. If you're watching this, we believe that you are connected to us in some way, or you heard about us and you wanted to find out more. But we truly believe this isn't something we're just doing by ourselves, but we are being sent out by family and friends as we seek to follow Jesus together. So please join our sending team, both prayerfully and financially, as we want you to become a part of our family. This is the next long season of our life of trying to be a part of seeing the gospel go out into the whole world.